you what to do. We're saying you want to enable it, we'll help.
Do you think they will? Okay, the third question is Sky News. Thank you.
Yes.
Layal Saad, Sky News Arabia. Following the agreement, the ceasefire agreement back in November, the U.S. failed to ensure Israel's commitment to the truth. What are the assurances you can offer this time to Lebanon? And are we possibly on the verge of a new war in case you are not able to take diplomatically what you want from Lebanon? And by you, I mean also your ally, Israel.
Wow, you packed that with so many things that I don't agree with.
Yeah, I'm a good journalist.
Yeah, you are. That was really good.
Thank you.
Starting with failure, right? So, and thanks for the question. I understand what you're saying, but I don't take responsibility for any of that because it wasn't a U.S. failure. There was never a U.S. security guarantor for Israel. There was a mechanism set up. You have a task force of UNIFIL who is a provider of enforcement technique. And what happened is the specificity in that cessation of hostility agreement just wasn't sufficient. So neither side trusted each other. There was no security guarantor. There's a mechanism that had no ability to correct a default. So the mistrust between Israel, Hezbollah, LAF, all of the pieces just never came together because everybody was in such a hurry to get a transaction done that the headlines of the agreement were not sufficient for the details of what happened. So what your government is doing now is filling in those details. I'm not smart enough to answer all of those questions.
I'm pretty sure you are.
But what we did is went back and said, let's take lessons from the past. What are lessons from the past? We had a Taif agreement. Taif agreement was done before you were born. I actually went back and took the Taif agreement and went through line by line. It's almost exactly what we're talking about today. Exactly what we're talking about today. I said, how could this happen again? All of the same ingredients. We had a cessation of hostility agreement. Why did it not work? Lessons learned again. So we're taking all those lessons learned, but the reason I really have hope that this can happen at this moment is what's happening around us. We didn't have the opportunities that we have now. My belief is Israel wants peace with Lebanon. They do. How to get there is a challenge. Hezbollah is a political party. It also has a militant aspect to it. Hezbollah needs to see that there's a future for them, that road is not harnessed just solely against them, and that there's an intersection of peace and prosperity for them also. I think the desire that's coming out of our combined headlines of agreement is all that. So I don't think it's a failure of security guarantor. There was no security guarantor. I don't think the collapse of that agreement is the collapse of the interest in all parties wanting to make a deal, and on a regional basis of what happened in Iran, what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Syria. Syria is moving at Mach speed. Who could have ever imagined? Right? Did I answer that satisfactorily? Yes.
There is any link between the affair of the Hezbollah and the next negotiation between U.S. and Iran?
Zero. Are you asking, is there a connection between what we're doing here and the negotiation with Iran? No. The connection of what we're doing here is you. It's not, the problem is not Iran. The problem is you cannot agree amongst yourselves. So we take the Sunnis, we take the Shias, we take the Maronites, we take the Druze, and you take the 150 sects within that. You have 19 different religions, and you start by saying we're religion first.
Mr. Barrack.
Mr. Barrack. Is there any timeline for Lebanon to abide by?
But Lebanon doesn't need to abide by. Lebanon is hurrying, trying to get to a formulation of what they need that we then as America can usher. We brought with us today one of the senior people on the staff of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for Senator Shaheen. Roy is here
Excuse me.
someplace.
How?
Let me finish a statement. And you know, part of Lebanese hospitality is calm down. Take a breath. I'm not going anywhere. I'm happy to answer these questions. But give me a break. I'm not the enemy. So the answer on all these things, the pieces of that puzzle, are really in the hands of the Lebanese government, which is complicated, right? There's so many pieces of it. But until we get unanimity, there's nothing that America can do to usher that process through. That's all we're trying to do, is to usher it quickly while this region is recasting itself.
What is the first difference between American approach and Lebanese approach or Lebanese response?
Well, it's a document. We had 15 points, which were all the things that you know. The Lebanese response was very responsible of some of the things that we missed, some of the clarifications of things that they feel that they need that are different from what we asked. But all